Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sana IE. I'm your host, XO. It is Friday, and an idea that I came up with during this week of reflection. And Mondays and Fridays, I'm gonna start doing Mondays or episodes will be based around mental health, and Friday episodes will be based around financial literacy. Basically calling mental health Mondays and financial Fridays. And today we started that new with the financial Friday. And actually we started last Monday, honestly. Monday we started with mental health Mondays. And the names that I just came up with, like I said, mental health Mondays and financial Fridays is what I'm gonna be calling the two, basically the main heads of each episode for Mondays and Fridays. And Monday we discussed how to cope with trauma, how to cope with trauma when being triggered. I also want to know how you guys cope with trauma throughout your life in the past, even now. How are you coping with trauma? How are you coping with yourself? How are you coping with different triggers that trigger you from past traumas? Reach out at sanaie.com, email me, and I want to know. Let's talk about it. Let's email about it and see how we can help each other and how your testimony can be an upliftment for somebody else. As well as discuss with last week's episode, stop postponing things we should stop postponing when it comes to ourselves. And the other segment was 3 productive morning habits that you can start literally tomorrow. And I want to know what productive habits y'all had as well, and how that episode helped you with anything that you're doing mental health wise. Now, for this episode, Financial Friday, we're going to be discussing, where should I start? I'm going to have my quotes today, of course. And then a few segments that I'm going to have. One will be money and couples. And the other one would be money secrets of happy couples. And the last but not least, I'm going to discuss the book I've been reading heavily this month. One of my favorite books. This book has been very intriguing. 2 episodes ago, I think last Friday, I want to say, I discussed this book, The Psychology of Money. And this book is just phenomenal. It has great stories that really relate to human life. And it really tells you like the behavior and the psychology of different people with money and dealing with money, from wealth, riches, the poor. And I've been taking notes heavy. I'm thinking I'm on like chapter 11 or 12, but I'm gonna read off what I've been reading, read off my notes that I've been doing with this book, as well as, if you haven't heard the first few chapters that I took notes on, go back, check out last Friday's episode, discussing some Netflix hits, as well as what I learned from this book and the Everything Store. But this book is a great book. If you want a book to read and need a book to read and want to know how money works and the psychology of money, which is the name of the book, check it out. But let's get started with the quotes of the day. My first quote is, find happiness and joy in your journey, or you may get to the end and find life is empty there. Find happiness and joy in your journey, or you may get to the end and find life is empty there. As I read that, I think and I reflect, it's real. You got to find that happiness with the journey that you're on, and joy in the journey that you're in. Because the famous quote by Kobe, RP, it's about the destination. It's about the journey and not the destination. And within the journey, you find out who you find yourself, who you are. You find the happiness and find that joy. We seem to be having where we're like, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I lose this weight. I'll be happy when I get this job. I'll be happy when I get a new relationship. I'll be happy when I get a new car. I'll be happy when. But it's about finding the happiness within the moment, within the time, within the present, instead of looking for happiness within the next thing. Like right now, there's happiness and joy that you can find. Even if you're going through something bad, you're going through any turmoil, you can find happiness and joy. Like, yo, even though I'm going through this, it could be worse. Or I'm glad that I have another day to where I can feel what I'm feeling, but I know this too shall pass. But it's like We're trying to find happiness within the next possession, the next item, the next person, instead of finding happiness within ourselves, within our lives, within the present. So it's all about finding happiness and joy on your journey, and not waiting to the end of time to where like, yo, what I was searching for, I never found. I was searching for happiness, but it never came because I was trying to get happiness within the next thing, but not realizing that happiness is within the moment. Happiness is within me. My next quote is, the journey. That's funny. We talk about journey in these quotes. The journey isn't so much about becoming someone. It's about getting rid of everything that isn't really you. And that's true. You know, over time, we grow up, we age, we shed shells of ourselves, of who we were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and who we are now, who will be in 10 years from now. And it's like every year we're growing up, we're blossoming, we're evolving, we're becoming a whole new being. So it's really like each year we're shedding something that we don't like about ourselves, or something that won't fit into this new form of person or being that we're becoming. And when it comes to me, the biggest thing I can think of is taste buds. As a child, I was a fast food baby. Always wanted fast food. But now as I grow up now that I'm aging, I shedded that fast food to where I'm like more conscious and aware of what I should be eating, what I should be putting into my body, versus as a kid just putting in all this candy, junk, and all this stuff into my body and not really realizing what it does long term. So the journey isn't so much about becoming someone, it's about getting rid of everything that really isn't you. So what isn't you that you have to get rid of along on this journey? New habits are needed. Old habits won't open new doors. So it's all about becoming a new person, getting rid of that old shit that doesn't work no more. But once again, the quote is, the journey isn't so much about becoming someone, it's about getting rid of everything that really isn't you. I'm gonna give y'all a brief break and I'll be right back with Sana IE. Next topic up for discussion, I feel like, and I know, is a sensitive subject, and we're naturally resistant to talk about money. And I feel like I said, money is a sensitive subject. And with this one, I just want to go deep and dive into how money in couples operate, some statistics that I found, as well as my personal history when it came to relationships and money. Simply because my personal history we never really discussed money really in the relationships. Just like you have your two separate accounts. One, you have your account, your significant other has their account, and that's how it goes. But I feel like the issues are really rarely ever discussed, simply because it's money. Nobody really wants to talk about how they are doing financially, unless you're wealthy or rich. So, but when it comes to middle class and the poor class, I feel like we feel ashamed to talk about the money, especially when it comes with our significant other or in a relationship. But it should be discussed more, so we can know how we can help each other out, how we can both be financially sustaining what we're doing. So it comes down to money in couples, the biggest topic. And money within relationships, like I said, is sensitive to talk about, and it's rarely discussed in some relationships. What I found, some statistics that I found, 35% of couples say money causes stress in their relationships. 33% say that their money-related fights were because of spending. So 35% of couples say money causes stress in the relationships. If you're in a relationship right now, you've been in a long-term relationship, do you guys discuss y'all money? Do y'all discuss money overall in general? Or do y'all, like I said, have one separate account? Y'all have two separate accounts, and then Y'all just handle stuff as they come. Are you a part of the 35% that says 35% of couples that where money causes stress in your relationship? I know you're like, oh, 35%. What about the other 65? 65%, the other 65, they have their money. That's the part of the happy couple tips that I have coming up later. But that 35% of people, 35% of couples, I know listening right now, I know there's a couple probably of in that 35% where they're like, yeah, money stresses our relationship because so-and-so. But I think it's best if we sit down and discuss the money issues or the money problem so we can find a solution. Because it's you and your significant other versus the problem, not you, the problem, and your significant other trying to find a solution. So you got to work it together and use your heads to find out, okay, hey, how can we defeat this problem at hand instead of letting that problem stir up, and then it's causing friction within your relationship. And the other ones, 33% say that their money-related fights were because of spending. I think when it comes to us and the people listening right now is really maintaining and sustaining that financial budget and budgeting and having a financial plan to know where your money's going and where you need to invest in, what do you need to spend on. So that's what it really comes down to, is finding 35% of couples also say that they don't consult with their partners about their spending, about large purchases. So if that's the case, how can we really figure out if it's our money? That's the first thing. You're like, yo, it's my money. I don't want to spend it. I can spend it on whatever I did. I made this money. I don't have to tell them what I'm spending my money on. And it's like, how can we make it to where it's like, yo, it's my money. I want to spend it. How can we go about this and resolve this issue? And it's about really laying it out on the line, really open it up about how, okay, this is my money. This is how I want to spend it. But it's like being aware and conscious of how can I open up about the larger purchases. Like what is the large purchases that you may have bought in the past that caused the friction in your relationship, in a past relationship? Maybe like, oh, I bought these, I went on a shopping spree, or made this investment, or I spent the last on so-and-so on some shoes, or however it is, and it caused friction in your relationship to where you're like, you didn't want, you in your next relationship, you're like, damn, maybe I shouldn't consult with them. Maybe I should hide this purchase instead of being open about it. Like, yo, should I purchase this? And you never know how they can maybe help you. Like, hey, I'll go half with you on the purchase. Or do you really need that? Is that something you really need? Or is that just a want you want in right now? So having opened up and talking about like, yo, consulting about the large purchases, you know what a large purchase is. You may have, like I said, done it in a past relationship, or you may have done it in the past where you're like, you've been single and you're like, okay, you're single. When you know you're single, you buy anything you want. You're like, yo, I'm splurge on myself, splurge all this money. But once you get into a relationship, it's like you got to have a different mindset when it comes to the money, even though it's still your money. But once you get closer and closer and get in a long-term relationship with your significant other, money's going to have to come up. That topic where you guys going to have to discuss, like, yo, how are you doing financially? How are you doing? Are you budgeting? Do you have an emergency fund? Are you saving? Are you investing? Are you spending? Because their financial habits will rub off on you. So we're going to keep going with the statistics. Another one that I found, 20% hide money rather than argue about it. 20% of couples hide money rather than argue about it. I'm gonna let that sink in, because I know like with each of these statistics that I've said, I feel like somebody listening right now is like, yo, that was me in my past relationship, or that happened to me in my past relationship. And it's like, it happened to all of us. It's life. But it's like, having that information and the knowledge now, it helps you to know. So maybe you're like, after this podcast, you're like, yo, I'm gonna go sit down with my significant other, see how they're doing financially, see how I can help them or how they can help me, and really open up the conversation so we don't have this friction when it comes to money in our relationships, where we both know where we stand. So it says 20% hide their money. And like I said, of course you're gonna hide it when you know just your money, you make it, you wanna keep it to yourself. You're like, I work for this money, I work hard for this, this is my money, this is what I want to do with it. Which is understandable, it's cool. Yeah, we all do that, we all get like that, we all have that mentality, but it's like now we have to grow up and see, I'm in a relationship, or how can this money work for me, or how can I put this money to use instead of spending this money? Always trying to spend, because that's what money's not all about. Spending. It's like, yeah, we want to live our best life, we want to treat ourselves, we want to buy the new shoes, we want to go out to eat, but it's like coming back to reality, see how can this money work in the long term? How can I utilize this money within this relationship or utilize it for my future? Another statistic that I found was 55% believe a strong budget or saving strategy was the most appealing money-related quality in their relationship. So a strong budget or money saving strategy was the most appealing money-related quality. So having that budget, you can have that personal budget and then have that relationship budget, to where it's like, what plans do y'all have? What are y'all trying to accomplish? What are y'all trying to do? What are your future plans? What are y'all trying to do in the next year, next month? And really seeing like, yo, how can we create a budget or a saving strategy so we can save up for that new house, save up for that vacation, save up for a fucking new car, save up for something. Really just having that money related qualities, it really helps out. So 55% people, 75% say it's important to find a partner with a similar approach to money and budgeting. And that's true. Finding that person who really has budgets like you, has similar money qualities, and who really want to budget and really are on their finances and really want to build their financial literacy versus you trying to do it yourself. So it's important to find somebody with a similar approach. How are they with money? How are they doing with money? And learning that in the dating phase, in the dating stages of the relationship, and knowing, is this person for me or is this person not for me? And that's what it comes down to. But I'm gonna give y'all a brief break and I'll be right back with Sana IE. Now that we got the statistics out the way, let's talk about money secrets of happy couples. What do happy couples do who are financially literate, who are financially stable, who are financially intimate? And first thing they do is they get to know each other's money habits. How is your significant other's money habits? How are they with money? Are they good with money? Are they bad with money? Are they budgeting? How are they? Get to know their habits over the next 2 weeks if you don't know them already. And then once you can figure that out, talk openly about your experience with money growing up. I want to hear your story personally. How was your money? How was your relationship with money growing up? How did you experience it? Were you good with money? Was money always moving fast throughout your childhood? Or was you a saver? Was you an investor early? How were you with money growing up? Let me know. Leave a review, sanaie.com, or even hit me up on the email and let me know how you did with money growing up. What did you like about your parents' money habits? Did your parents have good money habits growing up? Did they have poor money habits growing up? How were their money habits? And these two questions I will start incorporating with my interviews with people that I interview, how their money habits were growing up, as well as their parents' money habits, just to open up the door when it comes to talk about money and financial literacy. Another thing, couples who understand where their partner is coming from tend to have fewer conflicts. So you have this discussion about their experience with money growing up, how their parents money habits were, and you have fewer conflicts because you understand that how their money habits were, how it shaped them. It goes back to mental health and childhood trauma. Childhood trauma affects adulthood. Poor money habits affect adulthood. So it's about really learning how their money habits were, how their parents' money habits were, and seeing how you guys can fix it. And they also have a CFO of their relationship, a chief financial officer. Are you the CFO, or is your partner the CFO? Who's better when it comes to money and math and finances? Figure out who that is and appoint them. Like, yo, you're the CFO of our relationship, and you can budget the money out and everything. They also have open joint accounts. 28% of married millennials keep their finances separate compared with 13% of baby boomers. And this survey was done by Bank of America. Financial advisors recommend a joint account for shared expenses like rent, utilities, and vacations. Another thing they do, they discuss lopsided debt. In 86% of marriages, at least one person has debt, according to a survey done by SoFi. Even though you aren't legally responsible for the debt of your partner, responsible for the debt of your partner before they racked it up, before you guys got together, you should plan how to pay it off as a team so you can reach shared financial goals. Another thing they do, they have monthly money talks. And this is a great idea. Having those monthly money talks and knowing where you guys are financially and how you guys can help each other grow and benefit from the money. Having a monthly money meeting is perfect. You can pick one day out of every month, maybe the first Wednesday of the month, and you say around 8 o'clock, and you discuss this. And if you have separate accounts, you guys should meet more often. But during this check-in, review your bills, your budget, and progress on any debts and goals, noting what went well and where you need help at. To feel more engaged, the non-CFO partner should be in charge of setting the meeting agenda. And to add an incentive to keep you guys from dreading the meeting, order your favorite food. Eat together, and really have this talk about, have this monthly money meeting with each other and have that check-in, review y'all bills, check on your budget, check on your progress of any debts that you guys have or the other one has, check on y'all goals, see what went well and what went wrong. Having these monthly money meetings is progress in the relationship, and it's progress for you guys. So having those money talks is great. Don't feel like burdened by this monthly money meeting. It's something that needs to be done so you can get a hold of your financial literacy, your financial independency. Even if you're not in a relationship, you're single, you can have that monthly money meeting with a friend, your best friend, a cousin, a relative. Have that monthly meeting to where you guys are holding each other accountable for your finances. Even like I said, if it's even a friend, your best friend, your cousin, your mom, your dad, hold each other accountable. Have these monthly money meetings to see where you guys are at, so you know where you guys are going. And that sums up the tips of secrets of happy money couples and what they do. They have their monthly meetings. They discuss the lopsided debt. They open joint accounts for shared expenses like rent, utilities, and vacations. They have a CFO. Get that chief financial officer who's good with money, who knows how to manage money well between you two. And couples who understand their partner, where their partner is coming from, tend to have less conflicts. Ask these questions. What were their parents' money habits? How was their experience with money growing up? Ask these questions. Get to know how their money habits are and what they've been through when it comes to money. But I'm gonna give y'all a brief break, and I'm gonna hit y'all with what I learned from the psychology of money. Thank you for tuning in. If you're loving the show so far, leave a 5-star review. Leave a review on the show. I greatly appreciate it. Sanae.com. Let me know what y'all think. Check out the website. I'm always updating the website. I'm gonna give y'all a brief break. Thank you for tuning in. what's your definition of enough? In life, we tend to see or tend to think there's never enough for us, or we always want more, or always striving more, trying to exceed some type of goal or finish line that we set. We raise the bar. So what is your definition of enough? And that's how this chapter starts, chapter 3 of Psychology of Money, and is discussing money-wise, what is enough for you? Think of that number in your head. What is enough money for you? And then a few notes that I've taken from this chapter. It says, don't risk everything to get more when you have enough. One of Warren Buffett's quotes stated, to make money they didn't have and didn't need, they risked what they had and did need. That's foolish. If you risk something that's important to you for something that is unimportant to you, it doesn't make any sense. And that's true. I'll read the quote again. It said, to make money they didn't have and didn't need, they risked what they had and did need. That's foolish. If you risk something that's important to you for something that is unimportant to you, it doesn't make any sense. Another note that I've taken down was the hardest financial skill is to get the goalpost to stop moving. If expectations rise with results, there's no logic in striving for more, because you'll feel the same after putting in extra effort. Your expectations can't always rise with results. Oh, my expectations are always rising, always rising, always rising. As you're striving for more, it's like you're putting in that extra effort for a small increase. And it says the taste of having more gets dangerous. More power, more money increases ambition faster than satisfaction. And then you know what the biggest problem it is social comparison. It's a battle that can never be won because the ceiling is so high. The only way to win is to accept that you have enough, even if it's less than those around you. Enough is not too little. The appetite of wanting more will push you towards the point of regret. Many will stop reaching for more when they break or forced to. Example, burning out at work or risk investment allocation that they can't maintain. One of the powerful things that stuck with me that I had to learn myself, not every dollar is worth reaching for. The inability to deny a potential dollar will eventually catch up to you. So not every dollar is worth reaching for. That's what you have to learn. That's what I'm learning myself, not every dollar is worth reaching for. That's deep. And the chapter ends with, there are many things never worth risking, no matter the potential gain. There are many things never worth risking, no matter the potential gain. Chapter 4 is really short. It talks about the confounding, basically discussing Warren Buffett's how he accumulated his wealth over time, how something small can create something big. Linear thinking is much more intuitive than exponential thinking. Invest consistently over time and shut up and wait. Invest consistently over time and then shut up and wait. Chapter 5 talks about getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. It opens up with getting money is one thing, but keeping it is another. Getting money requires taking risks, being optimistic, putting yourself out there. Keeping money requires the opposite of taking risks. It requires humility and fear of what you made can be taken just as fast. It requires frugality and acceptance that at least some of what you made is an attribute to luck. Damn, this is one of my favorite chapters because it drops so many notes and so many information. It talks about you can't be complacent. It says yesterday's successes won't translate into tomorrow's good fortune. A survival mentality is so key when it comes to money. And it lays out 3 big notes from that. One is few gains are so great that they're worth wiping yourself out over. Number 2 was compounding only works if you give an asset years and years to grow. Longevity leads to prosperity. You need to avoid ruin at all costs. Applying the survival mindset in the real world comes down to appreciating three things. One, more than I want big returns, I want to be financially unbreakable. And if I'm unbreakable, I'll actually think I'll get the biggest returns because I'll be able to stick around long enough for compounding to work wonders. Number two, planning is important, but the most important part of every plan is to plan on the plan not going as planned. And number three, a barbell personality. Optimistic about the future, but paranoid about what will prevent you from getting to the future is vital. Like, this book is real crucial. A lot of tips, a lot of information. Next episode, next Friday, I'm going to be discussing chapters 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are the chapters I'm on right now. In the next topic, if you've been reading this book, or if you're reading any book where it talks about financial literacy or financial independence, let me know what it is. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're reading as well. What are you reading this month? What do you need help with this month? What are your favorite books that you've read? There's a lot of books I've been reading throughout this year. I'm very grateful, but this book right now is really resonating with me, as well as the other book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is a great book as well. I'm gonna give y'all a brief break, and then I'm gonna hit y'all with the recap as well as my NBA picks for this playoff round 1. Thank you for tuning in to Sana IE. Check 1 2. Okay, we back. Just adjusting the levels with this. Okay, back at it again with the recap. I appreciate everybody that's listening right now, that's tuned into Sana IE, that's been supporting Sana IE from day one. If this is your first time listening, thank you for listening to the show. Hope this show helped you out as well as yours around you. Maybe it'll open up the conversation to have that for you to have monthly money talks with your significant other, as well as your friends, the people around you, seeing how their finances are and seeing how you guys can grow and elevate and build on these financial habits and on these financial topics, and really discuss it within each other and not really feel vulnerable or ashamed of where you're at financially, because the way to grow through it is to talk about it and really get help from others. But with that being said, let's get started with the quotes on this recap. First quote was, "Find happiness and joy in your journey, or you may get to the end and find life is empty there." And that's true. Life right now, find the happiness within this moment. Find the happiness within this day. Find the happiness within this year, and the joy. There's always happiness and joy within every moment, every day, every year. So it's all about you just really seeing through the times that you're in. Maybe you're feeling like you're going through a hard time. Maybe you're going through your trials and tribulations. Maybe you're not seeing the end, but you're just in it right now. You're in the chaos. You're in the storm. You're not finding the happiness and joy, but just happiness and joy within it. You just have to really sit within that storm and find out what that is, that trials and tribulations is trying to teach you. So on your journey, find that happiness and joy. It's not going to be when you get to the end. You'll find out life is empty there if you don't find your happiness now. The next quote was, "The journey isn't so much about becoming someone, it's about getting rid of everything that isn't really you." So who you are right now is just another mode of yourself. Who you will be a year from now will be different from who you are from right now. So every step on this journey, you're getting rid of a part of yourself that you need to get rid of as time goes on, as you grow, as you age, as you evolve. Then we got into monies and couples, or money and relationships, money and friendships, however you want to get down to it. But this is money and couples statistics. 35% of couples say money causes stress in their relationships. 33% say that their money-related fights were because of spending. 35% of couples say they don't consult with their partners about large purchases. 20% hide money rather than argue about it. 55% believe a strong budget and saving strategy was the most appealing with money-related quality in their relationship. 75% say it's important to find a partner with a similar approach to money budgeting. So you got the statistics. So it's all on you, it's all on us to really open up and talk and have the conversation about money with the people around us, with our significant others, and figuring out how their money habits are. And I got some secrets, the money secrets that I discussed. They get to know each other's money habits. Get to know each other's money habits from the start so you know where you guys are going financially, especially if you guys are in it together. They're open about their experience with money growing up. Talk about it. Have them conversations. Talk with each other. And how was your experience with money growing up? What about how was your parents' habits? Are you following the same habits as your parents? Look into that. Have that conversation with your significant other. Couples who understand where their partner is coming from tend to have fewer conflicts. They also have a CFO of the relationship. Maybe you have to find your chief financial officer. If it's not you, maybe it's the other person. So figure out who that person is and really get y'all finances and aligned for the future and right now. And then for the more secrets, they open joint accounts. 28% of married millennials keep their finances separate compared to 13% of baby boomers. Advisors recommend a joint account for shared expenses like rent, utilities, and vacations. They also discuss lopsided debt. In 86% of marriages, at least one person has debt. So they talk about it. They discuss. They open up and talk. Have those conversations. Have those monthly talks, monthly meetings where you're discussing your debts, your check-in, you're reviewing your bills, checking in on your budget, seeing how your goals went, seeing what went well that month, seeing what went bad that month, and holding yourself accountable and knowing and saying, yo, I fucked up this month. I spent too much here, and now next month I'll do better. That's what it comes down to, and just really opening up and having the conversation, being vulnerable, and not feeling like, no, I don't want to talk about my finances. No, I don't want to talk about where I am. It's about just open up and having them conversations. Then I discussed The Psychology of Money. A great book, great topics. I read chapters 3 to 5, and reading this book is really just molding me. Some people, I've been reading it with my girl. I've been reading it. I was reading it, letting the homie read it. It's a great book. Like I said, the chapters I discussed right here is one of them was Never Enough. The other one's the confounding, and the other chapter is Getting Wealthy versus Staying Wealthy. Dropping incredible notes, incredible gems in each chapter, and honestly, I'm grateful for this book. If you're listening right now, check out that Psychology of Money. It's a great book. Check it out. If you got Audible, that's the best place to check it out and get it and read it, because I feel like we're always on the go. You're listening to this podcast right now, you're probably at the gym, you're probably on the road or on the train, on the bus, or maybe washing dishes or cleaning up, or however you're listening to this, but we're always on the go. Rather listen to something versus reading it. So if you want to read a book, check out the book. Psychology of Money is great. It'll help you mold you and your mind about how money works and how people behavior works when it comes to money. And now I'm gonna get into my NBA picks. Playoffs start this weekend. Playoffs start tomorrow. Shout out to my Warriors. We play tonight. Got Memphis. Gonna get that dub. But the first round 1, we got the Miami Heat versus the Milwaukee Bucks. I got the Heat in 6. Next, it's Mavericks versus Clippers. I got Clippers in 7. Then the next one I've seen is Celtics versus Nets. I got Nets in 5. Then the next matchup is Blazers versus Nuggets. I got Blazers in 7. Then we got Sixers versus Washington. I got Sixers in 6. Next up, we got Atlanta versus New York. Shout out to New York, man. They put it on. They really got themselves back into the playoffs. But between those two, I got New York in 5. Next up, we got LA and the Suns. That's gonna be a great little series right there. All these series gonna be great, but this one will be good too. LA and the Suns. I say LA in 6. Then we got my Warriors versus the Jazz. You already know, Warriors in 7. Hey, but if we do it before then, shout out to us, but Warriors in 7. And that's my picks for the NBA first round 1, starting this weekend. We're going to see what gets to it. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Check out our Patreon. The Patreon is in the show notes. Check out the show notes. If you're listening to the show notes, check it out. Looking at basically the show description of everything that's happening within the episode. I got the link in there. Check that out for the Patreon. I got the link in there for the website. I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're listening to this right now on Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review. I greatly appreciate it. Y'all have a great weekend. I'll be back again with y'all on Monday. I'm going to leave y'all with this. Make peace with yourself, because that's the first thing you need to live a happy life. Have a good weekend.